Well, a warm welcome to you, travellers, adventurers, whoever is watching these out there. I hope you're enjoying my videos so far. I just want to take you back again from this figurative thumbnails I've been doing to a simple skeletal stickman, I guess. All intents and purposes, it is a stickman, I have to admit. Just like these. And now you see how expressive they are? What I want to do, I'm going to go through 3 stages with you quickly, going from the skeletal drawing, so like this one here, this character, and then start building the shape up, but actually show you how to add shape and form to your characters, because shape and form is the very foundation when it comes to understanding any object in 3 dimensions. And what I mean by that is simply, you've seen it before, if you see someone draw a circle, and then to turn that circle 3-dimensional, you can just add some contour lines, and hey presto, you got yourself a 3-dimensional object. So, I want to do this again, break it down even further of another character, but this time I'm going to do a stickman. Can't believe I'm saying that as a professional. I'm just drawing stickmen for people online, which is kind of crazy. But stick with me, my plan gets better. Okay, let's just begin like I showed you in the previous videos. Just do a line like that. Hope you can see that with the blue pencil. And top, bottom, mid, torso, knees, shoulders. Yeah, that'll do. And if you want, I can go back to that cross method where you can say that's potentially where the hands could meet, or the wrists for that matter. So let's add in the head. So let's just do some simple rounded bubble characters. That's where the chest was, hip. So you really want to, because if we're going to draw shape and form, we might get quite stiff on our drawing, so I want to really get that pose, slap it straight in there, bend his knee, he or him, she, her, whatever, could be male or female at this point, and have the elbow there. It's not the most dynamic pose, but he's leaning forward, and then have the elbow down here and the wrist hand coming up here. That'll do. That's all I need to go on. I mean, that's probably even too much, I would say, for myself, but this is still a demonstration. I need to just create a pose structure. Now we're going to go into the shape and form, just like I showed you in the last video. Now let's add in the shapes. I'm going to start with the chest. So the rib cage has a curved structure to it, doesn't it? But what I'm going to do, I'm going to taper it up here and then finish it up there. I'm going to split that rib cage right in half like that. So there's your first shape. So it's going to look a bit like a cylinder. But this time we're not going to draw literally a box and cylinders like we did in the last video. We're going to create much more, it's going to edge slow, more figurative rather than really blocky. So I'm trying to emulate the shape of rib cage, which does slightly taper in at the shoulders. Okay, and then bring another shape in here. That's another cylinder. And then, as you've seen in my drawings before, they're all naked, most of them. So that'll be the groin area. I suppose it is going to be a man. Okay, now I'm going to curve the thigh muscles. Now you've seen, if you look at your own leg, it curves outwards, especially now that he's got his leg bent. And then do a little curvature. So again, you want to, so it's still a cylinder, it's just slightly changed and tapered in to match the thigh. And for perspective, for that 3 dimension, we want to match how this central line has shifted slightly to the left. And we want to do this, so we're not going to put the line here, that wouldn't make any sense. That line needs to match with the thigh, shift it slightly to the left. Okay, hope you understand that. Let's create the knee, and let's, okay. Now what we're going to do now, we're going to shift the perspective, so we're looking down. So we're going to create a little cylinder here. Now, as you can see, we can actually see inside the cylinder, so that means the perspective is coming down this way. Just ever so slightly. Taper in the shin. Again, follow the line. You can even do it on the knee, like that. See? So it's looking like a nice, smooth transition now between each limb. Quite big legs on this character. And then we'll finish at the ankle. Like this. Try and imagine like your dad's slippers, what he puts on in the morning. So I'm going to name that as the slipper. Because you know how it comes out the back. And instead you want to add in the ankle. Like that. Then again, drawing the contour line up. If you want, you can add another curve here, just to remind yourself of the perspective, and another curve here. Okay. Let's do the same on the other leg. Slightly to the left, because that's the perspective we're looking into, as you can see. Now, because he's got his leg pointing down, it's bending in a bit. Actually, no. Yeah, I'm going to keep it at this perspective. Sorry, I'm just confusing myself there. Yeah, that makes sense. Nice sphere for the kneecap. Okay. So we're following more the structure of the legs, the human body now, aren't we? Making some nice curves. Try and follow that line just at the very edge of a shin, and then finish it off, tape it in like that. And then he's on the back foot, so he's on his toes here with his ankle raised, which can be a bit tricky if you're not used to this. Curve that foot. Could say it that way. Okay. And then the spheres again, just like the knees, but for the shoulders. And the same applies, just like the legs. Decide on what angle, so I'm going to go with the curving going this way at the top of the cylinder. Taper it down. Another ball joint. And I'm going to have the curve going that way. Taper into the wrist. Do the contour line again. I call them contour lines because I do 3D modeling, and that's the sort of terminology we use. You could say we also use topology to reference the grids when you're building a 3D model. Okay, and let's do the same on the other arm. Gonna do the contour line there, and if you want, you could do a little ball joint for the wrist. And if you imagine each finger would be a cylinder in itself, but for now, because it's only a thumbnail, I'm just going to do that. and the palm, the core of the hand itself, would be a square, or a cube in this case. Now you have to remember the thumb is on the inside of the body, but because he's got it angled like this, you'll get used to it. The thumb is actually on the outside now. I have to do it myself. I have to pose my hands just to remind myself. It's not a natural pose. It's kind of, it looks almost like a cyborg, robotic or something. Anyway, I get it. Again, it's just a demonstration. Now for the head, it's interesting. So he's going to be looking slightly upward, because from my perspective, our vanishing point is probably around here, around the hip area. So I'm going to do the jawline there. Simply the head. And with the skull, it does taper back a little bit, like this. And then what you can do, you can just then curve it at that angle. And again, add in the contour line to split the head, down to the neck, and so on. And if you want, you can add in more detail there for the temple and where the ears would be. Well, I hope that was enough to go on, just to get you started. I know some of you are going from the very beginning, like my daughter. So this is going to be, even for my daughter at 10 years old, this is very difficult to achieve, but keep practicing and use this shape and form method. Add in those contour lines. And I'll keep doing this because it's just so important, and I'll go into detail in other shapes. I'll even do animals. And I'll see if I can try and master this camera as well. I don't know sometimes whether to keep it this far out or to zoom it in like this. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and learnt a little something tonight. And yeah, please come back for another episode. Thank you for watching.